Hello, it's PubShorts episode 21. Don't go breaking my chart. I couldn't help but giggle, Tony, about this song reference that we have for this. Hi, my name is Dr. KK. I'm the Innovation Officer at Trinca Ninago, and I have with me Tony. Tony, first comments on the song reference. You, Tony, I would like you to unmute yourself and.
Let
Yeah,
me start again. I'm sorry about that, KK.
yeah,
Yes, I
that's
should
no
have
problem. Yeah.
answered earlier. Yeah, no, thank you for asking. It's that particular song is a classic. Elton John and Kiki D from, I can't remember, was it 1973, possibly very early, and maybe slightly later than that. I can't remember. But it was a number one here for a long time, and it's probably one of his best known collaborations.
Yeah, it had we have a very good story to sort of use this song title as reference. But before that, Tony, could you introduce yourself and explain what Inago, Trinca, and Pop Shots,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
So I'm Tony O'Rourke, and I'm Vice President for Partnerships here at Inago. My role is to manage relationships with publishing organisations around the world, mostly, although I work with societies as well. Inago is an editing services, a language services business, I should say, and we have an AI technology as well that we've been developing to support authors. And that technology is a universal product called Trinca. And if you want to have more information on any of those products, please go to trinket.ai or to inago.com.
Excellent, Tony. So today's episode is titled "Don't Go Breaking My Chart" because we are leading with a story about images and figures on scientific papers not quite being accurate. So I'm switching to our screen share. So the title of the article published in Nature.com is "Bad Bar Charts Distort Data, and they are pervasive in biology." So the summary of the article is that the bar charts are very common in life sciences literature, but often misrepresent data. Nearly 3,400 papers from 2023 were analyzed, and about one third had data distortions in bar charts. Are you surprised, Tony?
No, I'm not surprised. And you know what? It's not. These aren't bad actors generating bad images necessarily. Yes, of course, in some cases there will be exaggerations, but more often than not, it's just authors who don't necessarily have the skills or the techniques or the abilities to be able to create high quality images that reflect their data. And like anything else, they need the help of experts from
Right.
time to time.
Right. And the common issues reported included not starting the y-axis at zero, which I've seen a lot of such charts in
Yeah,
even in my non-research life, and misusing logarithmic scales, which can skew perceptions. And the one of the reasons provided as in the article for such let's say overlooks is that multiple co-authors being there, and they might overlook because they are sharing responsibilities. And eventually the article or the writer emphasizes the need for increased data literacy and better checks in scientific
yeah,
publishing. Right, I agree with that.
I
But
absolutely agree.
I'm going to ask you, this is probably likely to be more of a problem for early career researchers, and
Yeah.
they are struggling to get everything right, but this is probably a little more difficult than it for experienced ones. So could seek help, right? And there are
Yeah,
people who can
sure.
help. Yeah, so could
Yeah,
you
I mean,
explain? Yeah.
we're one of a number of organisations, but we provide services that will support the author, at any stage within their manuscript development process. Not just text, but graphics as well. If they need us to create a scientific illustration, or perhaps even a graphical abstract, for
Hmm.
example, which we do more and more, it's a service we have available.
Right, right. And moving on to our next article, which is I think it's controversial. At least you think that it's a little like pointless article, but
Yeah,
basically,
well,
it's a research article titled "Mapping Retracted Articles and Exploring Regional Differences in China 2012." This
yeah,
2012 to 2023. So,
yeah,
Tony, we have talked about it. China is one of the top countries with a lot of retractions coming, and approximately there are 15,000 retracted article authored by researchers in China from 31 provinces in this time period. And they basically did a trend analysis, and the areas in which, or the areas from where such retractions came, and this is what I think you find, let's say, less relevant, is they're Shandong, Jiangsu, Shanghai, Henan, and Anhui. So, why do you feel that we don't need to analyze retractions or any metadata from regions or provinces, Tony?
well, Look, I appreciate the fact that the analysis to understand whether any particular hotbeds,
Mm-hmm.
why there are certain hotbeds within a given region is important. But it kind of masks, I think, the overall picture or the
Right.
overall message that retractions are increasing. Why are retractions increasing? What can the industry do to reduce those retractions? And what can the industry do to make it easier to identify papers that perhaps should be retracted?
Mm.
I just think doing it at a regional level, it's interesting to know, that one region is perhaps more prone to this than another, but I'm not sure how it kind of helps
Mm.
in the. Maybe I don't see the full picture, but I just don't see the real benefit of doing this kind of analysis. But interesting nevertheless.
Yeah, the researchers themselves say that the purpose of the study is to provide insights for adopting more targeted measures to prevent academic misconduct and to improve the integrity, which is fair. And maybe focusing on maybe there needs to be more corrective programs for researchers from these
Well, I
specific
was going to
regions,
say, yeah.
right?
I mean, the only way this will stand, and it will never be stamped out. There will always be bad actors
Right.
in this process. Are there to be incentives and penalties
Mm.
levied perhaps at a national level, at a research level, at a
Right.
research funding level?
Right, Tony. So, as part of Inago and Charlesworth, we work with researchers as well as institutions from China. So, what are the steps that we as a brand are taking to prevent or educate people regarding research misconduct and research integrity?
We want the research to be honest, open, transparent. We want it to be communicated as clearly as possible. So it's very much in our interest and in the interest of the author, of course, as well, and the research institution, to ensure that any submissions that are being sent for peer review for publication are meeting all of those criteria. And we have services that will support authors to help him or her understand what they need to do to achieve those criteria.
Right, and where can they find more if somebody is interested in knowing about our research integrity or such
Yeah, you
services?
just go to the research integrity pages at inaga.com and that'll give you an insight in terms of what we do.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony. And we are moving on to the next article. This is published in Scholarly Kitchen. The title grabbed me, but also there is another reason why I'll ask you regarding this. But it's titled Ethics in Scholarly Publishing is more than following guidelines. It's a very strong statement, and I completely agree. So it's written by Hasib Irfanullah, a biologist turned development facilitator, and he's a Scholarly Kitchen chef. And it discusses ethics in scholarly publishing, and it argues that ethics isn't just about following the guidelines, but with some reasons. Because Hasib's point is that ethics vary across disciplines and regions, and standards keep on changing over time, and they are influenced by culture and norms. So we need to keep on moving and updating, and transparency isn't always equated to ethics, which I thought was a very interesting point. And sometimes, Tony, unethical practices can hide behind ethical guidelines. So the
Yeah,
academic system
yeah.
can inadvertently support unethical practices. So this is a broad summary, but what are your thoughts?
Uh, again, anything that will highlight the importance of ethical integrity in research is a good thing. This is a very clearly written paper that I think lays out what the issues are and the need for global standards. And it's a difficult thing to be able to implement, but there is a need.
Right. So, Tony, my favorite scholarly kitchen chef is Hasib. Do you have a favorite?
Well, of course, apart from your good self, who you've published a number of times in the Scholarly Kitchen, KK.
Thank you.
No, the Scholarly Kitchen have a number of really, really intelligent and informed, understand the scholarly publishing scene. So, I pretty much look forward to every daily release of
Right.
the Scholarly Kitchen.
Right. To be clear, I'm not a chef yet. I've contributed a couple of articles that
I beg your pardon. I beg your
aspire to be a
one
chef.
one day, KK. You'll
Yes.
aspiring chef.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I don't want to even reference The Bear, which is a great show, Tony. We'll talk about it some other time. But we have another article, the Society for Scholarly Publishing. This is a news article, The Future of Orthopedic Manuscript Submission, OrthoPub T by Bone and Join, which is a publisher. And so I'm going to read. So the Society of Scholarly Publishing shares some exciting news that Bone and Join has launched AutoPublish, a trademarked AI-powered tool for orthopedic manuscript submission. So I'll pause there, Tony. I am an orthopedician. If I were not in this field working with you, I would probably be using such tools. And I can tell you that orthopedic surgeons are not quite the most, let's say, gifted in terms of using tools and getting things right from a formatting point of view. So, what are your thoughts after listening to my insight from my field?
Well, apart from the your comments on the abilities of orthopedic surgeons to use computerized tools, which is slightly worrying. No, I thought this was an interesting paper. I'm sure there have been other similar platforms made available. This is the first one I've seen, which is very much topic specific or even sort of journal area specific. The fact it builds in the rules. What builds in the rules, so it allows the author to be able to do those formatting, technical checks, language checks, whatever it might be, at the point at which they're submitting. I think this is very much points to how the industry is going to go as well, in that it will become a routine part of the submission process for those checks to actually happen very early on.
Right. So quickly, this Ortho Publish aims to save authors time by improving the submission process and lets authors format according their manuscripts according to journal-specific requirements. And it's developed by Molecular Connections, a leader in AI solutions. Now, Tony, for researchers and authors who do not submit to the Journal of Bone and Joint Surgery or related journals, where they have this facility, how can they get assistance in terms of getting the
Well,
formatting?
what the author needs to understand, particularly the early career researcher, is that you would think ultimately it's about what you write in your paper that's going to be that will decide whether you should be whether your paper should be peer reviewed or not. There are so many factors involved, not just how well it's written. How familiar are you with the journal's formatting rules? Do you have to format the paper in advance? Do you have to sort of structure the paper in such a way that it meets that journal rules? There are journals becoming increasingly agnostic, but if there are rules in place, you need to adhere to them. And I think there is a lack of appreciation. And some of these big journals, some of the very, very high rejection rates, will reject papers, perfectly good papers, because they don't meet some of those rules.
Right.
So it's really important. We have tools such as Inago Reports and Trinker, which will help the author to prepare their submission. So if any doubts at all, then come and talk to us.
Excellent. Thank you, Tony. And moving on to the next article, it is, I think, a news release titled "Clarivate's Commitment to Enhancing Metadata Accuracy." And I'm very passionate about metadata in general. So Clarivate enhances metadata accuracy for the directory of open access journals, which is a very useful resource. It
Yeah.
introduced a delete flag for withdrawn journal. This boosts the reliability and precision of metadata. So in a nutshell, earlier, if suppose you had retracted papers, the metadata as the entire sort of row of metadata used to be removed, and the sequencing would change. It'll keep a version record of this with this flag. This is what I understand. So this
Yeah.
makes anybody who's referring to Crossrefs databases and tools or applications, it makes it more robust, and it retains that entire version record. So this is a very good enhancement. So my question straightforward to you is, should other organizations who are in this field of metadata also step up and make such changes so that eventually research integrity, we can bring it, let's say, more, bring in more accuracy, at least at the metadata level?
It absolutely goes without saying that if you're providing any kind of abstracting indexing services, that managing your metadata, managing the metadata is critical to the accuracy of the search.
Right.
So yes, of course.
Right. Tony, moving on to a big announcement. I'm sure that you have a lot to contribute regarding this. So Silverchair if it has announced acquiring Scholar One from Clarivate to expand investment and innovation in critical publishing technology. So there are two related sort of web sites. So this is the announcement pretty much. And it basically, Scholar One is a platform, sorry, Silverchair is a platform designed for scholarly and professional publishers. And it offers a comprehensive suite of tools and services. And Scholar One is an online manuscript submission and tracking system. So, they have bought it. And from Clarivate are a leading provider of transformative intelligence. They provide a lot of different things. So now what the subscribers and users of Scholar One can expect to see is technical and technological improvement. So I'll pause here to seek your thoughts. So far, do you have any comments?
Well, this news came out in November. I don't think many of us in the industry were surprised that Clarivate would sell Scholar One, because Clarivate, as you probably also know, huge, fantastic organization
Mm-hmm.
that are best known for things like the information science. Oh gosh, what's it called? Web of science, web of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, web of science.
Yes.
The citation indexes, my mind's gone blank in terms of the
Yeah.
titles, but they are kind of not quite the de facto one of the core metrics
Mm.
organizations to track citation performance, and they also have a number of other businesses as well, such as ProQuest. Um, uh, Scholar One, perhaps looking at kind of the other resource data tools, very much library and user facing,
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit of maybe an outlier, perhaps I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So it seemed logical for me
Right.
that it would go to the hands of somebody. It would move to the hands of somebody who is able to really develop the product in a way that publishing organizations need it.
Right, and the reason why we are talking about it is because I think this piece, which basically is the CEO of Silverchair discussing this acquisition,
Yeah,
and
well,
it's
it's right.
titled
Yeah,
"Integrating for Innovation: Silverchair's Vision for Scholar One." This is the reason why we are talking about it, because I wanted to give background of regarding this. So the whole focus is on innovation, and the idea behind the acquisition seems to be to solve publishers' challenges with content and technology, and to sort of drive community driven integration. So apparently Silverchair also plans strategic investments in infrastructure and features, and commits to transparency and collaboration with publishers. So this is
yeah.
the sort of whole story. Again, do you have any other thoughts after
No, I mean, I think again, from an industry perspective, it's not unusual for a journal platform provider like Silverchair
mm-hmm.
to want to be involved in other parts of the workflow. There is precedent, for example, Highwire Press, I believe, own Bench Press, which is a submission system.
Right.
Um, and the Highwire itself is the platform on which you access the journal if you're a
Mm-hmm.
user. Silverchair is a platform to access the content, and now they can offer publishers a submission and one of the world's largest and important submission systems
Mm-hmm.
as part of their workflow. So seeing those two integrated, I think, is a really exciting development.
Right. So Tony, this is a special episode because we have an actually pre-recorded segment coming in as a cameo before our quick hit section. So I'm going to shift to that, and I'll ask your thoughts after we finish playing that video. So moving on to that, just hi, my name is Dr. KK, and this is our first PubShorts cameos. And I have with me Vignesh Krishnamurti. Hi, Vignesh. Excited to have you here.
Hi, KK. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're the first PubShorts cameo, and you have something exciting to share with us. So, what is Inago One, Vignesh?
Well, I'm really excited to talk about Inago One, but in very, very simple terms. Inago One is basically an account that gives you the power to access all our human expert solutions as well as our AI tools and products. Using, if you already have an Inago account, with the same account, you can now access Trinka, you can access Inago Read, Inago Reports, and all the latest tools and solutions that we will be developing in the future. So it's basically a one-stop shop for all your publication needs.
Right.
This is how I can put it. Yeah.
Right. So we've got a lot of clients, and from their point of view, why is accessibility and bringing it all together under one let's say account so exciting for them?
There are so many stages and so many challenges that researchers face, right? Not everyone would be at the same stage in a research journey. For example, an early career researcher would probably want solutions more related towards literature review or how to write or how to get published better. Whereas an experienced researchers, they would probably want to know more about how to get more citations, how to increase the visibility of the research, how to improve the awareness, and they would probably be more interested in research impact solutions
Right.
or research integrity related solutions. So it was very important for us to get all our products and services because we have been constantly developing new solutions, not just with respect to AI, but also we have some exciting services, human expert services, and we have services that combine the human expertise as well as the technology together.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very important for us to actually map these solutions with every stage of a researcher journey.
Mm-hmm.
And then Inago One is basically here to facilitate, the account is here to facilitate and get that accessibility
Mm-hmm.
and make it very easy for all the clients to access all the solutions.
Right. So we have a bunch of different types of clients, all the way from researchers to publishers to institutions who work with us. So if I were to ask you what are the clients will be most benefiting from such an innovative account such as Inago One?
Like I mentioned, KK, we have, and you already know that we have products and solutions catering to literally every challenge that a
Mhm.
researcher or all our clients face in their journey. This is not about picking and choosing clients. Anyone and everyone can access Inago One because it is one stop solution or platform, for all the publication needs. So no matter at what stage in the researcher journey that our clients are in, they can just simply come onto the page. They can look at all the products and solutions that are that they need at
Mhm.
that particular moment,
Right.
and then with the Inago One account they can just simply access it. They don't need to create multiple accounts or have that hassle of remembering the username,
Mm.
password, and so on.
N-
So it's
No.
all about accessibility. So it's open. It's actually beneficial for anyone and everyone, like
Right.
all our clients.
Nobody wants to remember accounts, usernames, and passwords. So that's what we are making things simpler for everyone. So if somebody wants to
Yeah.
know more about Inago One, where can they go to find more about it?
Well, it's you can just go on to our website inago.com/one. You can find all the information there. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, sorry, X,
It's okay.
Facebook, yeah, Instagram.
Blue
Still getting
Sky,
used to it.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Blue Sky as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, excellent.
And all the information will be very easily available there.
Excellent,
So
Vignesh. Thank you for taking
yeah,
some time out of your busy schedule to share information regarding Inago One, and we'll hope to have you soon in PubShort cameos. Bye for now.
thank you, KK. Bye.
So Tony, that was our first PubShots cameos, and it was Vignesh, our senior marketing manager, talking about Inago One. So you've been familiarized to Inago One, the one account that gives access to every service and every AI tool that
Yeah.
we have. So what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, I'd encourage anyone who uses Inago services to create a free Inago One account. You just, if you are going to use one of these services, have everything in one place. Just makes life a lot easier.
Excellent. And now, Tony, are you ready for the quick hits?
Go for it.
All right. So the first quick hit is regarding interdisciplinarity, Tony. So this article examines the multidisciplinary nature of journals labeled as such. And so the focus is on journals that have multidisciplinary sciences as a category. So one example is biochemistry and molecular biology. It uses a large data set from 1980 to 2021. And this was the first time I came across the Gini index, which measures multidisciplinarity. And eventually, so the driving point is that impact factor is linked with publication proportions in specific fields. So nature, science, and PNAS are showing strong biases but are becoming more balanced. So authors suggest careful considerations. This authors of this article suggest careful consideration by the actual researchers who are submitting papers, and scientific agencies about the biases in terms of discipline. So Tony, considering the trend towards multidisciplinarity, and that we've talked about in several different sort of stories so far, how are service providers like us, Inago and Charlesworth, how are we responding to the increased need for multidisciplinarity in the
Oh, first of all, can I just say, I having worked in journal publishing as long as I have, I've seen this sort of trend grow over the last 20 plus years. Journal publishers don't launch journals without there being a specific requirement, a specific need. They see certain journal subject areas certain areas working together increasingly, and they need to create platforms that will allow those voices to be heard.
Mhm.
So the way it affects us in a good way is that if we could receive a paper, let's say for a chemistry journal, but may require somebody who has an understanding of the environment or may have an understanding of medical medicinal chemistry rather
Mm-hmm.
than straightforward analytical chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So it just means that we have to ensure that our reviewers, our authors, our editors, I beg your pardon, have the necessary skills to be able to support the author.
Yes, yes, and the use of AI, especially these new things like perplexity and etc. Those are meant for improving comprehension. For
Oh
me,
yeah, I wasn't even thinking of the AI issue as well. The great thing about these AI tools, ours or anyone else's,
mm,
but and ours in particular, is that they're kind of subject area independent.
mm-hmm.
Um, Perhaps unlike the orthopedic platform we looked at earlier, which is very specifically looking at,
Yes.
and we can of course customize our platform, our tools to make them subject area specific. And we're doing that in one particular subject area at the moment.
Right, right, right. So, Tony, I have for the first time, I have a 2-year-old opinion article as something that I want to talk about because we have talked about the author and a book.
2 years old.
Yeah, it was published in 2022. It was before the latest
Agreed.
book. So it is titled "The Dangerous Populist Science of Yuval Noah Harari." So this is
Yeah.
from Current Affairs, and it is primarily talking about *Sapiens*, the book that launched Mr. Harari. And Harari is accused of prioritizing storytelling over scientific accuracy. And the article claims that there are several errors in his initial book *Sapiens*. And I just finished reading *Nexus: The Information Network* kind of book. We've talked about it. So his influence is on powerful figures, and in the world. For example, I think he's friends with Mark Zuckerberg, and I don't know whoever they invite. So he is invited to help them make decisions regarding the policies, etc. So from that point of view, he has a lot of influence, and yet in his the most famous published work, there are a lot of scientific inaccuracies. So simple question to you: this is populist or popular non-fiction, right? If how much is accuracy important, because we are talking about accuracy in scientific research, so how much is accuracy important in such popular non-fiction as well?
See, if it's popular non-fiction, then the most important thing is how creative is the work, how engaging is the work. I don't think a book needs to be good to be wholly based on facts and on the truth. If they want facts and truth and evidence, then they read the appropriate material. If they want to be entertained, then they can read a populist fiction novel.
Right, right. And so do you have
Oh, so I
any?
think it's popular. This is populist non-fiction, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yes, yes.
Okay. Let me just retract everything I just said. If it's positioning itself as a book representing the facts,
Mm-hmm.
then those facts need to be accurate.
So it's somewhere in between. That's why I decided to sort of nod along when you said about what you said earlier. I think it's somewhere in between because he's sort of creating sort of complex, very historical, sociological concepts and sort of digesting them and
Yeah,
sort of giving it to the masses.
but
And
he's not. But he's not positioning the book. I don't know the book. I haven't read the article. He's not positioning the book as a seminal. As a seminal reference work. He's giving an opinion.
right, but
And if he's giving an opinion, his opinions may vary from others.
yeah, but there are things that he has referenced, and there is obviously a big reference section in the book, but those are not accurate as his other claims by the author. And Mark Zuckerberg, I'm just giving you an example. I'm highlighting that passage. There are people who considered him to be the one source of authentic scientific and sociological historical information. So from that point of view, it is dangerous. That's the author's
Well,
claim.
it's dangerous. Isn't that the great thing about living in a democracy where people have the freedom to
Yeah.
be able to say what they want to be able to say in the way they want to say it.
That's true, and interestingly, this the latest book talks a lot about democracy and totalitarian regimes, etc. So
Yeah,
to me it was an interesting read. It's not as good as *Sapiens*, but I'll recommend it anyhow. So going on to the last quick hit that we have, this is I'm sure that you have something interesting to say. So this is an article published in the Association of Learned and Professional Society Publishers, original article. It is titled "AI Navigating or AI Syncing: An Analysis of Verbs in Research Articles Titles Suspicious of Containing AI Generated or Assisted Content."
yeah,
So that's a
yeah.
mouthful. But in a nutshell, it is doing linguistic analysis of some of the verbs that are frequently found in generative AI, the ChatGPT outputs. So examples are navigating, enhancing, unveiling, etc. And what it's the study is saying that there's a lot of such verbs, and there's a higher percentage of such verbs happening since the advent of generative AI. And well, when I read it, I mean, this is what we are talking about. AI assistance has been there for about 3 years now, and people are
Yeah,
using it. People are not
yeah,
reporting that they have used it, and we
yeah.
need to fix all of that.
and the AIs are getting better, and
Yes.
the generative AI tools are getting better and becoming more difficult to detect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question to you, among all the AI cliches, which do you have anything that particularly is irksome?
No, but do you?
Well, I hate the deep dive. Let me take a transformative deep dive into how to eat a pizza. That kind of a thing that drives me nuts. But I personally have my own human lexical crutches. So like I use multiple and several for everything that I can think of, and wonderful, excellent, but whatever, whenever you say it, something I would generally respond with that. I want to sort of improve my own lexical versatility. Do you have any known lexical crutches? You yourself, Tony?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't. I'm not just about. Maybe I should be more self-critical about what I write.
And that's fine. If you want to be self critical on social media, where would you be?
Yeah, exactly. I hope that was a rhetorical question.
Well, okay. If somebody wants to find out more about Tony or
Oh, I
Org,
beg your pardon. Yeah. So yeah, you can get you. Thank you, by the way, for those viewers who have sent in questions and comments and ideas for discussion, and we welcome those. So you can find me at tonyo@tanago.com, or you can get me on LinkedIn. Just search for Tony O'Rourke.
excellent. And if suppose somebody wants to again look for other episodes of Pop Shots, where can they find
Yeah.
it?
So
Yeah.
just go into just type in pub shots and Argo on YouTube or LinkedIn, and you'll find us.
Yeah, and one quick plug, if suppose you're watching this on YouTube as a view on demand, please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell notification
Yeah.
icon and share the relevant episodes, because we have covered a lot of different things, a lot of the stories regarding peer review. If that fascinates you, share it with
Yeah.
others who might be interested in peer review related innovation or research
Yeah.
integrity,
And
whatever.
also to view the archive of this is episode 21, I think, or
Yes, yes,
20.
21. Yeah.
Yeah, just to view the archive of episodes that we've been recording over the last few months, and we'll have some more coming up as well.
Yeah, and Tony, so the holiday seasons are coming up. This is your last working day until the next year. So what are we doing about Pop Shots? Are we still doing?
Well, of course, I'm doing a pub shots recording with you next week, KK. Let's not forget that I'll be in that conversation. I'm breaking away from my holiday to spend time with you, discussing relevant topics.
Excellent. And is there another one coming around New Year's, Tony?
Yes, there is. Well, I think I've penciled one in for the 30th of
Right.
December, so we'll have one on the 30th of December as well.
So thank you for making time, during your vacation. So,
My wife is very understanding.
well, all the listeners and everybody in the team that supports us is thankful for that. And anyway, so that brings us to the end of episode 21. Don't go breaking my chart. And this is Dr. KK signing off on behalf of everyone who helps us create this content, and on behalf of Tony. Tony, bye bye. I'll see you
See
in
you in
the
the next
Chris.
episode.
Yes, bye bye.